Michelle's Inspiration Hour podcast, and my goal is to help that hopefully that you will have hope and most of all inspiration by watching the podcast. Now, here's a quote from our next guest. I'm willing to do things that I don't want to do to get things that I don't have. So Cam F. Awesome, and I love this, aka the Motivational Comic, is a former Olympic heavyweight multi-time national champion boxer with over 400 wins under his belt. He rose to fame after being featured in the Netflix documentary Punch, which chronicled his Olympic journey. Today, Cam uses his wit, humor, and life experiences to inspire and entertain audiences around the country as a motivational speaker and comic. So I am really excited to hear about his inspirational story that he has learned through all of his boxing and most of all, his life. So let's go ahead and bring him on. Hello, hello.
Hey, thank you for having me. Such a cool intro, by the way.
Well, I'm glad you like it. I enjoy doing the videos. To me, it's almost like art, celebrating the guest and everything. So if you're just listening, I always put together a video so you can go to YouTube to watch it.
Yeah.
And that just kind of, tells everybody who you are, where you've come from. Of course, I get on the guest Facebook and their Instagram and still pictures.
I like that. And you found a not popular quote, which I love.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad. Now, which one was that? So that people that didn't get to see it, or can you remember? It's okay.
I'm willing to do the things that I don't want to get the things that I don't have.
Oh, okay. The one that I said. Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Well, good. Well, tell us. I know you are so young to all the experiences that you have been through. So tell us about your life story, how it got started. And, I really love sports because I was a swimmer. I know it's hard to believe because I've got the fair skin, but I was a competitive swimmer. And to me, that was the best thing that I've ever done because you learn lessons along the way. So tell us about how you got into boxing and, what you learned from it.
Okay, so weird story about how I got into it. I was like 15 years old. I was super insecure about my weight, and I wanted to join a team to lose weight. Then I found out in school how calories work.
Oh,
they said like,
yay!
you consume about 2,000 calories on average, and you burn about 2,000 calories, and then you break even. So. Right. If you burn more calories than you consume, you will lose weight. Mm-hmm. And the only way I knew how to burn calories was like joining a sports team. But I tried out for every team and I couldn't make one. And then I figured out you can burn calories in anything you do. So I got rollerblades, and every day and before school for an hour, I rollerbladed because I wasn't going to consume less calories. Let's not be silly.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But here's where I learned. I did it morning after morning after morning after morning after morning after morning. I did it 6 mornings in a row, Michelle.
Wow.
I woke up. I was tired. I was sore. And not one single person stopped and said, "Hey, Cam, I can tell you're working out. You're looking good. Keep up the good work." And then I thought, am I wasting my time?
Right.
Because I want to lose weight. And I was frustrated, but I looked back at the equation and I looked at it as an equation. 1 + 2 = 3. If I burn more calories than I consume, I will lose weight. And I saw it as a simple equation. I was like, if there's no other way, I guess I'll keep going. And
right.
That was the first time I figured out how to deal with delayed gratification. I lost enough weight to join the boxing gym. Granted, I didn't have to lose weight to join a boxing gym, but I wanted to, like you brush your teeth really well before you go to the dentist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Clean up the house before the house cleaner comes over. One of those things. So like I got good work. I got down to a good weight and I got to the gym and I would work out for 4 hours a day. Like I was there all the time. And
Mhm.
I wasn't there. I didn't want to fight or anything. I was just there
Oh, right.
to hit the bag and do jump ropes and, the fitness. I wanted to look like a boxer so I can get a date to
Wow.
prom. That was the whole intention of this plan. And
Mhm.
and then 1 + 2 = 3. Me. So in this equation, you are one. You should always be your own number one. No one's going to believe you, and no one's going to believe in you unless you believe in yourself. I'm a
Right.
big fan of believing in myself, and you should
Yeah.
too. 1 + 2 = 3. You are one. Two. So 3 in this equation is the outcome, the goal, the objective.
Mhm.
1 + 2 = 3. So 3 is the outcome. What is 2? 2 is everything you need to do to get to 3. It's appropriately named
Yeah.
because it's number 2 because it's the crappy part of the job.
That's right.
When it's the part that you don't want to do, it's the reading, it's the studying, it's the getting up early
Mhm.
to train, it's the discipline, it's the actual work. And
Right.
I realized with this equation, 1 + 2 = 3, if I believe in myself, I'm number one, and I do the work, that's the only way it will come. Now, the only thing you cannot add to this equation, emotions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We live in a society of feeling feelings.
Mhm.
I want you to feel your feelings, Michelle. I want everyone to feel their feelings.
Right.
But also, at the end of the day, objective reality, no one cares about your feelings.
Yeah.
Number 2 got to get done. You can be happy when you do number 2. You can be sad when you do number 2. You can be crying. You can be hungry. You can be frustrated. You can be kind. But the
Mhm.
job needs to get done. So when I started boxing, I got in better shape than all the other boxers. And the coach was like, "Hey, do you want to get in the ring and spar?" And I was like, "Oh no, my mom's not going to let me."
Okay. Right.
Everyone
Right.
laughed.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm joking. I'll get a mouthpiece." And
Yeah.
I got kind of peer pressured into getting in the ring. So immediately my brain worked with this equation. 1 + 2 = 3. I am one. 2
Mhm.
is not getting hit.
Oh,
3 is surviving. So I got in the ring,
right.
and my whole objective was I didn't want to get hit. I was terrified,
Mm.
and I it wasn't memorable. But what I realized is when I was in the ring, I moved so much because I was so afraid of getting hit. I
Mhm.
sweat so much more. It was a way better workout.
Wow. Right. Oh, I
So
bet it was.
and then everyone wanted to spar with me, and I never had
Mhm.
friends. So I was 16. I was
Oh,
sparring
wow.
with everyone, and I realized, oh, all I have to do is not get hit, and I'm better than everyone else. So I decided to be a boxer,
Mhm.
and within 2 years, I became the number one boxer in the country. Uh,
Wow. And
I
you oh, and you know what? You found your talent. And I kind of want to back up a little bit because you were talking about that not to put the emotion into the equation of getting things that you want. Because, women are terrible at this because talking about losing weight, they're never satisfied. You know what I'm saying? So
oh,
you're never satisfied for how much you lose or how good you look. Sometimes it's just, and then it becomes an issue of you're hurting yourself to get there.
yeah.
So
Comparison
I
is a
love
thief of
that.
joy.
Yeah.
Uh, so comparison is a thief of joy. Like, what is your like? A lot of people, when I bring up this equation of weight and the weight loss thing, and I know
Mhm.
it's a sensitive subject, and I've had a terrible relationship with food my entire life
Right.
that I still battle. So like right now, I'm on top of that battle. I'm not always winning. Okay,
Right. Right. Right.
but I realized like, I'm an emotional eater, and I had to learn like
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
can't put my emotions into the equation. Uh, but comparison being the thief of joy, there's this guy who, and I don't remember his name, I can't pronounce it, but
Yeah.
a Kenyan guy, I believe, and he wanted to break the world record for the fastest mile.
Hmm.
And for a year, and this was back in the 90s, and he tried for like 6 years in a row. That was like his big, he would win these races, but he wouldn't break the world record. And his goal was to break the world record by a whole second, which is unheard of,
Wow. Yeah.
and which is a great lofty goal. And after 6 years, towards the end of his career, he
Hmm.
finally broke the world record,
Oh, wow.
and he took second in the race.
Oh, that is interesting. So he beat the world record, but became second in the race.
Someone beat him in that race.
That is crazy. But he reached his goal, right?
Now you can
Yeah.
say he reached his goal, but if he compares
Yeah.
himself to other people,
Right.
then then he's not happy anymore. He never reaches his goal. So it's like
Yes.
we have to be careful of where we lock our goal onto, and we have to accept it when we get it.
I love that. And I'm glad that we're bringing that up. And I know that during your boxing career, especially when you started going to the Olympics, that you were quote unquote, disqualified,
Yeah.
from moving on. And I still remember, and I don't mean to compare you're totally, you're on a different level, but I remember in my swimming career, I was disqualified because I did not, because it was a breaststroke race and I almost hit my record. I mean, I would have gotten like in the top 3, but when you hit the side, a turn, when you go the opposite direction, my hands were not even. You have to have even hands, and they were like a second apart.
Oh.
And I had a very difficult time getting over that, but you know what? It made me stronger as well. I never reached the time again, but there was a reason for it. So what did you learn through your mistake?
So well, when I first started boxing, like
Mm-hmm.
my goal wasn't to be a boxer. My goal was just to, like,
Right.
I thought if I went to the Olympics, I'd get on TV, and I just wanted to be on a TV show. That was
Right.
the goal. 2008, I qualified for the Olympic trials, but I lost. And
Mm-hmm.
I kept boxing. I won nationals in 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 2012. I won the Olympic trials, but I left the country, forgot to
Oh, okay.
inform the drug testing agency, and they showed up
Oh,
to
okay.
my home in Kansas City to give me a random drug test, and I wasn't there.
Mm,
Missed drug test is a positive drug test. I was suspended for a positive drug test. Even
wow.
though I tested negative that same week in Azerbaijan in the tournament I
Hmm.
was there to fight in.
Right.
This wasn't an actual real offense, but this was a few months after Lance Armstrong went on Oprah, and they made an example out of a few athletes.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
so, but rightfully so, there's nothing in my system, but I didn't send an email saying I could have sent an email, but I ended
Hmm.
up getting kicked off the Olympic team and I couldn't box for a year. Uh,
Right.
so I felt
Right.
like my whole world was taken, the rug was pulled on from under me. Uh, I, I went from being this super insecure kid, and then my senior year in
Hmm.
high school, I had to walk 6 miles every day to the boxing gym, uh,
Wow.
without music, and I would make up these stories in my head. And it was
Hmm.
a 3 hour walk every day. So for 15 hours a week, I was just making up stories in my head. And I was
Hmm.
kicking ass in these stories, Michelle. Like, I was beating up all of these boxers. I had all the money, all the women, I had fame. None of this was true. Uh,
Hmm.
but the 6 months I walked to the gym every day, that made the pendulum swing from being this insecure person to this super cocky person, because I started to believe in myself, and I would go to the gym, and the things that I said I was going to do, I would do in sparring, and I was winning my fights, and I was like, "Oh, anything I say, I do. Why would I not say I can do everything?" And that
Hmm.
was the attitude. Now, that attitude is very obnoxious, by the way. If you, because it's a very heavy energy, I would say.
Hmm.
Uh,
Right. Right.
the pendulum swung. I was super cocky, and then I got kicked off the Olympic team,
Hmm.
and I was humbled.
Hmm.
I went from being that cocky guy to being humbled, and I gained a lot of weight that my year off. I was losing my battle with food.
Hmm.
I was drinking a lot. I was depressed, and I realized I was humbled, and then I realized the difference between myself in that moment in 2012 and me when I was walking to the gym every day is like, one of us liked me,
Hmm.
and I thought about how much do I like myself? 1 + 2 = 3. How much have I been working on one? How much do I believe in myself?
Hmm.
I got humbled. Uh, Michelle, this is a more spiritual podcast, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
believe words are one of the most powerful things in the world. Now, the word humble. If you have your
Hmm.
phone on you,
I do
okay,
actually.
could you look up the definition of humble? Michelle, do you have any children?
I have 3. Yes.
3. Okay. As a middle child, I will ask this question with no. Do you happen to remember your middle child's name?
Yes.
Yeah, we tend to
Aaron.
keep forgetting. Aaron.
Yes,
Okay.
Aaron.
How old is Aaron?
He is, oh my gosh. Okay. Now that 32.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm 34. So
Oh, okay.
when you read this definition, I want you to think of Aaron. Okay.
Oh,
What's
wait,
the first
humble.
definition of
That's
humble?
okay. Hold on.
Because this is what
Okay.
I came across in 2012, and it changed.
I guess you want me to do the first definition?
Yeah. Read me the first definition.
Okay. Having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance.
Now, would you wish this upon Aaron?
No, because I want him to think he's awesome.
Of course. Okay. Maybe that's a fluke. Give me definition number 2.
Okay. Of low social, administrative, or political rank.
Does that sound positive?
No. Well, the other one doesn't either. I want him to, feel good about it. Yeah. So either one of those, no.
So if you ever wonder why the word humility and humiliate sounds so similar, it's of the same Latin root word, lowly.
Oh, okay.
So when I said I was humbled by life, I was brought down.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever had great news and something was going good, and then you ran into a friend who wasn't doing that well? And you're
Oh,
like,
yes.
well,
Yeah.
you
Of
don't want to
course.
share that news. So what do?
Yeah.
You're here, right? What
Yeah.
do? You lower yourself down.
You do.
You
Yes.
humble yourself. Now, if you
Right.
live in a society where we are always aiming for the lowest common denominator to be on that level, do you think that's a great society to be in?
No. Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Because it's low,
Yeah. So when people say, "Oh, you changed," I legally changed my last name to Awesome in 2012 when I
Mhm.
had this revelation. 1 + 2 = 3. It is free
Wow.
to think highly of yourself. Now, when I say don't be humble, I'm not saying be arrogant. The opposite of humble
Right.
isn't arrogant. It's confidence. Because confidence
Right.
means with faith, you know what's going to happen.
Right.
Now, I think highly of myself. I'm sorry. I think highly of myself without thinking
Mhm.
lowly of anyone else.
Oh, yeah. And I think, yes, I think that should be.
I think I'm up here. If you
Yeah.
think you're down here, I'm not going to lower myself to you. I
Right.
want to raise you up to where I am.
Agreed. Yeah, that I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you once you kind of go down to where their energy is, then they're not going to be able to come up, and you need to bring them up.
Oh,
But
and it's comfortable down there.
yes, it is. And I like, whenever you're talking about humble, about changing your name and everything, and we're going to talk about that, it's like showing a modest or low estimate of one's importance. But a lot of people, you don't really realize the definition of that. And you actually lived it. So can I ask you what your name was before you changed it?
Yeah, it was Lenroy Cameron Thompson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Not a fool.
So do you feel like because you changed your name, did you feel like you became a different person? You know what I'm saying?
Unexpectedly, here's what I didn't realize was going to happen when I changed my name. Because a lot of other cultures, so Michelle, when you were 16, your uncle, your aunt, whatever, they treated you like a 16-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
How did they know to stop treating Michelle like that when she was 24?
I don't know if I've ever stopped, but no, I know what you mean.
Like in the Mexican culture, they have a quinceañera where a 15-year-old celebrates womanhood. Yes. That means like, stop, don't push her in the pool. Like she's a woman now, like that type of thing, right?
Right.
We don't have that in our society here in America.
Yeah.
So what I realized when I changed my name, it allowed me to change my beliefs, to change for what I stand for, to realign my values, to reset boundaries. And I had to reintroduce myself to everyone, and they got to know this new me. I wasn't going to stand for certain things I stood for before, and I was going to change the way I look at life. And I think it was a good, I also realized that successful people, because I got to be around successful people through boxing, and it's not what I thought. Successful people will go out of their way to try to make more people successful. And I used to think people will be selfish when they're successful. And I'm like, oh no, it's like an abundance mentality thing. Successful people will stop their own success to go help someone else's success. And I realized that's how they become more successful. So the whole idea of putting faith in something, I decided I was just going to work on trying to make other people's lives better.
Wow.
And in return, if the universe works the way I think it will work,
Right.
my life will in return get better.
Well, and I think too, and in the spiritual world, we talk about, whatever you put into the universe, like what you're talking, and also the positive thinking, because if the negative thoughts just brings everybody and yourself down, with the energy. And I love where you're bringing up that you really share, your life story and everything. You are also going into the school systems and helping these teenagers out, by speaking to them. And because I know there's so many teenagers that are, all you have to say is they're teenagers, first of all. but there's a lot of depression going on and everything. And for you to go out and speak and really, and just what you said on this podcast is very inspirational. So where do you go to speak right
So
now?
I speak at high schools, middle schools.
Mhm.
I do colleges, and I also do corporate. I speak on resilience, having a championship mindset.
Okay.
Uh, and one of the takeaway lines from my speech is on resilience is, if you can fail without being discouraged, success becomes inevitable.
Yeah.
So it's the idea of not quitting. And a lot of people hear the word fail and they think fail is a bad word, but
Right.
fail is good. Fail is how you learn. It's how you gain experience, how you
Hmm.
get better. But the bad word is discouraged,
Hmm.
because we don't quit when we fail. We quit when we get discouraged.
Right.
And a lot of us get discouraged before we even start, so we don't.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
with that type of thinking, so I went down. So I'm not wearing them right now, but there's a company called Notes to Self. This lady, she puts positive affirmations on socks.
Oh,
I have seen,
that's awesome. I mean, that's great,
I've run into this lady weirdly at a
Yeah.
friend's house, and her most popular socks is "I am awesome." People have been sending me pictures of these socks for
Well, that's a
years, and I
really
finally ran into this lady, and I was like, "Why'd you start this company?" And she
uh
said, "Your brain is more receptive to information, both negative or positive, first thing in the morning."
really?
So she puts positive
Huh.
affirmations on socks, so you say it out loud as you're putting on your socks to start your day. So
What a great idea. I mean, yeah, absolutely. How people come up with these ideas. She is so correct.
I read the book. So during the pandemic, I had a lot of free time, and I
Mhm.
thought, we read books because we value people's time, opinions, their insight, and we want their keys to success. And we read their book, we buy it, we open up, we get to the end of the first chapter, and it says, "Hey, Michelle, don't turn this page until you do this action step." What do you then do, Michelle?
Well, I kind of,
I turn the page. I won't speak on you. I have a bookshelf of books I never went back to those chapters.
yeah. I know. Yeah. I always kind of like go through it. I'm one of those that I can't wait till the ending.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
said, next book I read, I'm going to do everything this book says, just as an
Right.
experiment. It was a
Right.
pandemic. I had time.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I wasn't really the spiritual type person before this. It was a
Hmm.
little woo woo for me.
Oh, right.
Because I was
Right.
like posted notes, but you know what? I said, you know what? I'm going all in, and I took my girlfriend's lipstick. I'm writing on the mirror. I'm doing the affirmations. I'm repeating it in the shower. I'm going through the book slowly. I'm doing everything, and it started to work.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. That's great.
There's a quote in the book that says, when you see riches, you're going to be wondering where they've been hiding the entire time. Now, I figured, if I can do this with money, can I do it with happiness? Now, here, thinking about what Laura said about this company and positive affirmation, or your brain being receptive to information, what's the first thing we do in the morning?
Yes.
Check our
That's true.
phones.
Right.
And if you know anything about, well, we hit snooze, we do math in 9-minute increments, and then we check our phones.
Right. Absolutely.
If you know about the news, if it bleeds, it leads. The timeline is the
Mhm.
worst gets shown first,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
first thing we do, we wake up, check social media, and you just see death, murder, famine, human
Mhm.
trafficking. It's just, everything is there. and it's
Right.
overwhelming. And I said, you know what? Before I do that every morning, before I look at my phone, I'm going to write a list of 10 things I'm grateful for.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to try this for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my car. I'm grateful for my washer. I'm grateful for my dryer. Those are two different things. You can be grateful for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a catch. I never repeat anything on the list for 30 days.
Oh, wow.
I have not. I'm all in. I'm all in. So day, like 2 weeks in, I'm doing it. I'm looking for things to be grateful for. It's not that hard. It's starting to take me 10, 15 minutes to come up with 10 things.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want to look at my phone. So what I started to do is I started to look for things to be grateful for throughout my day, store it in my memory, call it delayed gratification. So I can write my list faster in the morning. I can look at my phone.
Oh, I love it.
Now, I went down a TikTok rabbit hole. I know this is going to make sense. It'll all come together. I went
Yeah.
TikTok rabbit hole, and I found out about your RAS, your reticular activating system. Michelle, are you familiar?
It is a not. No, go ahead. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm kind of trying to figure it. But go ahead.
So your brain takes in billions of bits of information every moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not every second, every moment. Moment. Lots of moments, a lot of seconds, a lot of information. So things you can see in your peripheral, your brain can see it, but your unconscious mind doesn't give that information to your conscious mind.
Ah, okay.
It's passed through your filter. Your filter is your RAS. If you've ever heard what you seek is what you will find,
Mm-hmm.
this is that thing. This is your RAS. I don't know why people don't know about this.
Okay. Huh.
So let's say you decide to go shopping for a yellow car, right?
Right.
You don't buy a yellow car, but then after that, you start seeing yellow cars everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Has something like that ever happened?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
Do you think that someone just showed up and painted all the cars yellow the day before?
No.
The thing is, Michelle, your brain takes in so many cars so often that it wouldn't be efficient for your brain to give it to all to your conscious mind. So the second you said, hey, I'm looking for a yellow car, your brain's like, oh, yellow car, yellow car, yellow car, yellow car, yellow car. Do you find it funny that your car happens to be the most popular car you see on the road?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think the situation. My oldest daughter, is pregnant now, and I'm seeing all these pregnant women.
Yeah, it's so basically your brain. There's so much information out there. Your brain only picks and chooses and creates whatever reality that you want.
Right.
What you seek is what you will find. So when I started to wake up and look for things to be grateful for, just like that yellow car, Michelle, my car is like, ooh, something to be grateful for. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. In the first few months, I would cry. I swear to you, I would cry. And like, I'd be flushed with joy or like feel overwhelmed. And that's the feeling of joy. And it's free. I love free stuff. It is free. Now, I started this July 26th of 2021.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I haven't repeated a thing on that list. I did this morning. I'm a bunch of journals in, but it has changed the way my brain thinks. And when I say I come up with 10 things, people say, that's a lot. And I bet you it'll be so easy for them to come up with 10 things that aren't going right in their life.
Right. Yeah, I'm in. I'm going to do it. If my husband asks me when I'm down, I'm going, Cam told me to do this.
And so here's something I want parents to do as well. Do this and do it with your children. And whatever age they are, let them do that amount of stuff on the journal. So if they're 4, let them start with 4 things or whatever. And every birthday, they get to add one more thing every morning. If you normalize this behavior from an early age, you no longer have to retrain them to be grateful when they're older. When they go to their first slumber party at the age of 12 or 13 and they wake up and they notice all their friends don't do a gratitude journal in the morning, they're going to think their friends are so weird.
Oh, they're going, why aren't you grateful? But then again, they're planting the seeds. You know what I'm saying? If they get into the habit of doing it and their friends see it, then they'll do it as well. So just like what you're talking about you're planting the seed and I'm going, I want to do that.
Gratitude contagious.
Yes. So that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. Is there anything that we did not talk about that you want to make sure that we talk about?
Uh, yes, the whole humble thing. I do want to
Yes.
be respectful of everyone's beliefs because the whole idea is
Right.
like being humble in the eye of the Lord, and I
Mhm.
do want to be respectful of everyone's beliefs. Uh,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, Michelle. Last time I checked, though, you weren't the Lord. So I just wanted to be clear because I'm saying don't be humble, but I'm not saying be obnoxious. But
Oh, no, yeah.
believe in yourself. Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Now, I actually
Mhm.
don't know if Henry Ford really said that, but I love that quote.
Right.
Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Why would you ever think you couldn't? What would it
I
look
love it.
like if you thought you could?
Yeah. I love it, I love it. No, I think it's great. Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up. So with the humble and I mean, everything that you described is so concrete, and like a storytelling. Almost like the okay, you say motivational comic, you actually had some comedy in there as well.
Yeah. So, I do stand up comedy. And that's actually what I do at schools. I do an hour comedy
Oh,
show.
okay.
I realize
Oh,
kids, if they're laughing, they're listening. If
yeah.
they're listening, they're learning. If they're
I
learning, I did
love
my job.
it.
And then I
Yes.
realized adults are just children with the ability to drive. So I also do jokes for adults.
And I love that you know how to reach kids. And that is perfect because middle school you've got to have not only humor but a little bit of sarcastic humor.
Do you see that there's a F as my middle name?
Yes,
That
yes.
is on my birth certificate. It's just the letter F.
Oh, I love it
So
because you can. Yeah.
when middle schoolers see it, they see that
Yeah.
sarcastic sense of humor and
Hmm.
they connect with me from just the F alone. And
Oh, absolutely.
once I have them and they trust me, they'll listen to what I have to say. So
Oh, I love.
I
Yes.
love the F in my name, and I also think
I.
it's funny.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, you need to definitely keep it. You definitely need to keep it. All right, let's bring the wheel on.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
But I have to tell you, Cam, you're not winning $1 million. I hate to tell you.
Oh, I feel like it already. Too late.
Okay. All right. But it's kind of like, all right, what's going to come? What's going to happen? Oh, I know
Ooh,
that this is a positive, but this will be good.
I'm
What
here
is your
for it.
biggest pet peeve?
Ooh. Uh Best way to word this. When someone has a problem and the solution is clear,
Hmm.
but they rather spend all of their time complaining about the problem and none of the time actually towards the solution. It just
Right.
ends up being a feedback loop. And then you actually know what they're going to say before they say, I'm like, oh, yeah, all those same problems you had last month. I wonder what would change that. Action. Just do it. Number two.
Yeah. It's like you want to wake them up. You know what I'm saying? Say,
Oh,
I've told you, you've been told, and it's like, it's almost like that stubborn. You're hitting that wall to try to
yeah.
help them, and they just can't help themselves sometimes.
Oh, Michelle, and you see like they're completely blind to it. And you're like,
Hmm.
how can you not see this? And then you're
Right.
like, oh, if everyone goes through this, what can't I see about myself?
Mm, that's true.
That keeps me up at night.
Oh,
Like, how can I improve? I can be better.
oh, absolutely. Well, can't we all? Can't we all? But that just means that we're really, and to me, with each lesson that we learn, improves you. And with those failures, it's like, okay, how can I improve myself next time?
Oh,
That kind of thing.
yeah.
Well,
And
Cam, oh, go ahead.
sorry, I just the way I look at goals,
Hmm.
I see goals as a lighthouse. So picture yourself as in the ocean and you're going towards the lighthouse. You don't know much about the lighthouse, you're just going in that direction. That is your goal. As you get closer to the lighthouse, you're going to start to see details on it you couldn't see from a distance.
Hmm.
You're going to see
Right.
color, you're going to see shades, maybe textures. The closer you get to that lighthouse, the more you're going to realize it doesn't look the way you imagined it was going to look.
Hmm.
That is your
Hmm.
goal. For me, when I first started boxing, my goal was the Olympics.
Hmm.
2008, I tried out. I lost. 2012, I won the Olympic trials, got suspended and kicked off the Olympic team. 2016, I won the Olympic trials, but lost in international competition and didn't get to go to Rio. And then 2020, I won the Olympic trials, but then the pandemic happened and I didn't get to go.
Oh, okay.
If you look at my career as the Olympics, yes, I failed. But I look at the lighthouse as the Olympics. And on my journey there, I won more boxing matches than anyone else in the history of the sport. And I've cultivated friends, experiences, and relationships all around the world that I wouldn't have been able to get without boxing. So I don't think I failed in my goal, and I want people to look at goals differently. If your goal is to make it to the NBA and you don't, and you're playing basketball in Spain, guess what? You're still playing basketball. Because if you made it to the NBA, you just end up playing basketball, right?
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you're in Spain, in the NBA, you're in Taiwan, or you're at your local Y. As long as you're doing the thing that you love, it doesn't matter at what level you're doing it.
Wow, mic drop. Well said. I don't know. For some reason, I had to say that. All right. Well, everybody. Oh,
I
well,
like
before I say goodbye, where can they reach you?
You can find me at CamFAwesome on all the social media platforms, even Threads. I'm there too now because that's the cool hip thing to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. And I'm going to say the quote one time, okay? One more time that Cam said. I'm willing to do things that I don't want to do to get things that I don't have. So think about that over and over again, and especially with Cam's wise words, to be the champion that you are today. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.